They're quick on their feet, they've got some nukes and harass, but they don't really stand up to people getting up in their face. Then you've got Enigma there with Eidolons and stun.
For battle.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that early on, but with the Ogre, the problem is you can't really do that. It's very hard to do that. I'm not going to say you can't because it's EG, but it's very hard to do that with two melee heroes spending most of their time in the lane. And when you look, right, if they just send Lion and Skyrat down there, and they're just going to get harassed back.
Yeah, I guess so. Sumail with a null first with a couple of pooled tangos. Usually, for me, that would indicate Exort. But
yeah, I still think it's Sumail, man. He doesn't give an F.
He breaks the mold.
I think he's gonna go Exort and just nuke people all day long.
Okay. It usually does indicate Exort with the null just because you want that extra bit of intelligence, give you a bit of stats as well, because phase boots aren't really an Exort boots. Usually you just keep them brown boots, or you go into treads or arcanes we saw from Dendy back in the day. But phase boots are the prospect.
Semi-early bots is kind of the thing on Exort Invoker now, and I really like that. Like Yule's Blink semi-early bots or the Necro Book with semi-early boots of travel. Again, it's really gives you a lot of presence on the map. And with this lone druid, I mean, don't forget about that demolish. That is, to me, is one of the biggest hidden factors that bears bonus damage against structures.
The battle begins.
Stupendous!
What are we going to see here? Brax heading towards mid lane with that Storm Spirit. Kuroki in 1437. Zoning out that bear, and Radiant got both bounty runes.
Yeah, it's a good start for them. And again, it's going to feed into what I feel like is going to be an advantage for them during the laning phase. I think this is going to be the big question for EG. They're going to do the more standard axe solo off lane, it looks like. PPD, I think, is going to have a really hard time getting anything done rotating by himself in this game.
This is one of the more annoying pauses in the game, especially as like a player. If someone did this pause in a pub I was in, I'd be raging already. Oh my god, you paused during the creep blocking phase? No!
I agree with that.
This is the most important part, especially of the mid laner's game. Like, getting this important creep block, especially when there's Lion and Skyrath mid, he has to get this perfect. But Demon on the offlane clock, heading up to top alone. Brax mid-storm, 1437 on the Skyrath. Kuroki playing the Lion. Heading down towards bot lane, where they'll be supporting Arteezy on the farming one-roll Void, Universe, offlane Axe, and Sumail.
So they are going to go ahead and head bottom. I wondered for a minute, because if there's one weakness in Sumail's game, he has had a couple of games where he's fed a number of deaths early. I mean, he had a Storm Spirit game where I think he died 5 times in the first 10 minutes, at least 4. Oh, yeah. Wow.
No, but it's valid.
I thought that they might. I thought Kuro. I agree, by the way. But I thought Kuro and 1437 might stick around and try and get something done on Sumail's Invoker. But he did have the better block, even with the pause there. And so they're going to go ahead and go bot and support us easy.
Like, that is 100. Like, you can't flame PPD there. That's a valid complaint.
It is. It really is.
The wind from their sails.
PPD going straight onto Demon. Is going to man fight up a little bit with Ignite. Right clicking him down. Demon is taking the worst trade here. Even though he's got Stout Shield, 63 base damage on PPD, plus the burst from Ignite, Demon can't really stand up to that kind of heat.
Yeah, you do have to be a little bit careful, because if you get low at any point, Demon still, okay, he did just spend his first point on Rocket Flare, so he does have to be a little more conservative now.
What do you think that is? Rocket Flare level 1 doesn't really do that much for you. It gets you one last hit every 20 seconds, whereas Cogs...
he's really scared. I mean, he's scared of playing against this PPD Ogre Ignite spam, and he thinks he's just going to get pushed out of lane.
But Cogs would allow you to be a little more aggressive. You'd be able to burn PPD's mana and get into a position where you can at least get experience.
Universe taking a little damage down here. It looks like he's probably going to be fine. But yeah, I would tend to agree that I'd maybe favor the more aggressive build. But the other thing that plays into it is I think that Summoner's Rift are expecting that they are going to get the better of these two other lanes. I mean, Invoker is a really hard hero to mid with now, and it does, by the way. Sumail has not committed one way or the other, and he's going to go Quash Lex. Interesting. I mean, that's probably the smarter play for this game, but I was still hoping for that Exort Fireworks display.
It's always the one you hope for, but the one you rarely get nowadays.
But anyway, the big thing is that Demon just needs to not... ouch. The Demon just knows that he can afford to be fairly conservative in his lane. He just needs to get levels, he needs to not feed kills, because they should win these other two lanes.
There's one guy we haven't really looked at, is Aoi in the jungle. 2 minutes 17 Soul Ring. That's pretty good timing.
I mean, it's AUI. I don't know. You watch the replays of these guys, and I mean, there are fairly good guys on Reddit now to jungling on both sides with the Enigma, but still, what he's able to do just on a consistent game in, game out basis is pretty impressive.
Because quite often we're seeing, you know, a 2-minute 30 to 3-minute Soul Ring. So even cutting that time down, it's kind of like when you're an F1 driver and you're cutting your lap down by a 100th of a second or a 10th of a second. Just those minor seconds matter so much for when creep camps respawn, you get back to the large camp and you've got Soul Ring to make your next pile of Eidolons. Brax.
Whoa, and he ate that EMP, which has him down. That's still about a third of his mana pool. You don't necessarily see the Invoker using EMP quite that early a lot, but the 2 points in Wax, that's still pretty decent harassment. Very nice.
Yeah, and coupled up with a Cold Snap, placing it behind him before he can get down the ramp. Yep. Really well played by Sumail. But Brax isn't doing too badly himself. With 19 last hits and 4 denies, he's more than keeping up. He's now ahead of Sumail. But Storm Spirit,
it's a dramatic reversal from last game. I mean, we saw last game that Brax's sniper was just getting crushed from almost the beginning by a Zeus in lane, whereas this game he does have the slight lead on Sumail, and it's hard to last hit as an X-Sword Invoker, even if you're 15 and basically have the Dota skills of a god.
For a split second, I thought Universe was one of the Radiant heroes. He was moving across past the secret shop just at the same time as the courier was heading past the tier 2. I thought, oh god, it's happening. And I thought, no, Universe is a dire hero. They're fine. Brax again taking Cold Snap and EMP down to no mana whatsoever.
Boy, so they're going to completely sack this off lane against a Faceless Void, and they're going to have to...
Demon? There's nothing you can do here, really. Tornado's thrown out, so DD debuffed. PPD not catching his spells, though. I don't think it's really worth it. It's basically just, you know, throwing your weight around a little bit, saying, Demon, you can't go top lane, you can't go mid, you can't farm jungle. Where do you intend to actually end up here to get any form of XP and gold?
Yeah, particularly with the Fire Blast cast range nerf, that was going to be a really, really hard kill to get against a Clockwork with his cogs up, even though both of them are level 2. But boy, yeah, AUI and Universe having to split this jungle, that is a huge blow to EG's efficiency, and you're seeing right away, AUI, it feels like he has to rotate, make something happen.
Oh, he's got the Black Hole. They're going to catch Brax. No, the Vortex just in time. Black Hole gets cancelled by the Earthspike now. Brax probably still going to fall. Owie doesn't get first blooded. Nope. PPD takes down the Storm Spirit and keeps on whacking people with his club, but man, Brax with the Vortex there just before Black Hole gets cast, and then Kuroki with the Earthspike.
I thought that was going to go dramatically in favor of EG, and it ended up being still an advantage to them, even with the immediately canceled Black Hole. You traded an Enigma, who wasn't going to be doing anything else anyway, for a Storm Spirit.
Midas on Fear, 5.5 minutes in. That's not too bad.
It's scary though. It's really scary. Because I think EG has signaled what probably we ought to have expected, that, you know, they can now just split push. It's gonna be scary.
4 in one lane, then Fear in the other. How do you plan on stopping it? Because Fear's gonna get to level 11 relatively quickly, get to that level 2 in his true form. Then he's difficult to kill. You kind of need to pop Finger of Death and Mystic Flare just to take that bear down.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was some chance that he might go a more skirmish-oriented build, but hey, so here's Sumail in a little bit of trouble. This would be a huge kill if they can get this. Yep, they got it.
Nice movement again from Kuroki. The last proc of Cold Snap being a little bit annoying. Universe is looking worse for wear, though. Level 4 with Tranquil Boots and no real progression to Blink Dagger. But
he's just so much less efficient with this jungle time than AUI would have been. You see AUI rotating down to be able to do something in that off lane. And K-Poptosis had a really great stat a little while ago about Enigma off lane actually has a really, really high win percentage.
Oh, Demon has no mana left. Stunned up and then entangling roots from Fear. This is surely going to be a kill on the Clockwork. He'll try and get a last hit possibly, but there is no escape from the bear.
He's in the club. PPD with the kill.
That's the second one, isn't it?
This is a little bit concerning because I thought when I first saw these lanes that Summoner's Rift were going to have the advantage, and they've kind of just broken even. But they're breaking even against a team that has a little bit, depending on how the Void goes, this team can have a little bit steeper of a mid-game power curve.
And the Void does look like he wants to fight early. Mask of Madness is your first item, you know, not going for Midas, not going for any kind of real farm. I guess Mask of Madness is a farming item somewhat. So they're going to get jumped on here by Drax. So Earth Spike is going to be there. Not in time.
Ghost Walk. Nice.
I thought
And look
Kuroki
at
was
what
a little
that
bit
does
closer.
Yeah, and this is why we were talking about, as much as I wanted to see the meteors and stun strikes, Quaswatch was definitely the play this game. And look at what that does to the mana pool of the Summoner's Rift heroes. I mean, Demon just couldn't cast a spell anymore after that.
1437 being left alone on this bot lane just to get up to level 6 while Arteezy heads into the jungle. I'm wondering about his items. Okay, he's going Mask of Madness, Green Macula. Then Treads, but the one after that is the one that I'm really concerned about. Now he's going to walk into 2, EMP drops, Kuroki has no mana left anyway. He's still going to get burned down to 0. Arteezy, he pops Chrono here. He's already used Time Wolf away, Kuroki's dead, and Arteezy's kind of like, well, I can't help you against 2 or 3 heroes.
They're happy to give up the kill on Kuro there. If you're gonna force a rotation from the mid and from PPD and just give up Kuro, that's okay, right? Arteezy is just is happily going back to farming, and that's a trade that they'd make any day of the week.
But yeah, his next item, BKB. Doesn't seem necessary this early on. It's basically just the Ogre and Invoker throwing out big ultimate, big stuns.
Who are we talking? We're talking about Arteezy?
Yeah, Arteezy. You basically just need to go damage, right?
Yeah, I think you can go ahead and go Maelstrom still.
What is that hat he's wearing? Genuine Perceptions of the Eternal Mind. That's one of the perfect world ones, isn't it?
I don't know. You know what? Void hats to me are just so silly in general, and I'm probably gonna get flamed for this, but like, I know people don't like his base model, and I don't either. But to me, so many of the hats just make it worse. Oh my goodness! Look at that. Like, what the hell?
I like this one because he's got that pulsing stuff going out of his head. But there are some ones which are a bit iffy. DD up in Sumail, Brax on low mana. If you can pull off the EMP tornado, well, when he pulls off the EMP tornado combo, Brax is probably going to be left out.
Yeah, and Brax has never really opened up that lead on the Sumail Quaswax Invoker that I expected. I mean, he's maintained the small CS edge that he built in the first couple of minutes, but he hasn't left him behind.
Dire's bottom tower.
Look at that cold
is under
snap
attack.
harass. Incredibly annoying. Sumail with the phase boots going into Orchid, I'm assuming. Old school build was like phase drums, force staff, but Orchid is so important now. Hook shot, catches Sumail if they have any follow-up. It does even, so Scott goes for it. He is pretty tanky though. It's not an easy hero to take down. They've expended the majority of their mana pools and a bunch of HP.
Yeah, they needed that so badly. Before that fight, the levels were becoming such a problem for Summoner's Rift. They had Kuroki and one Demon just barely hitting level 6 there. So and now at level 7 after that fight, that was a huge kill for them. That helps them close that XP gap, getting the kill on the level 8 Invoker.
Yeah, most definitely. Enigma down in the spot lane as he's building into mech. Whoops on the courier. Yeah. Basically got mech completed. Arteezy gonna try and stop this. Pops the chrono. Mask of Madness activated. TP support coming in though. With this Axe gonna come in, try and take down 1437 as Arteezy finds the kill Enigma and TP's out. Universe still on the hunt though. 1437, one spin, 2 more. Or Sumail just comes in with a cold snap. Doesn't need it. Wants to keep now the cold snap.
Kuro gonna get his own life.
He's got Hex, he's got Finger, but you can't turn around and counter anything when you're being stunned up like that. One more quick.
Pretty good timing though, yeah.
Oh, he's gonna die to battle.
He's definitely gonna die.
Are you sure? I think he's alive. He survives.
Oh, he eats the tango, of course.
Yep.
Ah, very nice. Very nice.
His last one as well. The last tango manages to save him.
Very nice.
Fear, fear, fear. What have you got?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, he's got phase boots on the bear. I was looking at him thinking, well, where's your items? But he's gone for that full incremental build, where you've got Basilius on your hero with brown boots, and phase boots on the bear, with Quelling Blade as well as Stout Shield. Often we see the Stout, but Quelling Blade is not something that is that common, I feel.
Yeah, and you really ask yourself, like, what are they going to do to pressure Fear up here? I don't think just the Clockwork and the Skywrath is going to be enough to pressure Fear at this point. Oh, man.
They're trying. They're fishing for it.
Oh, this could be a turn.
Yeah, they got a hook shot down on Sumail. Demon now locks in place in the cost. Mystic Flare rips through his HP. That's another big kill onto the Invoker. I was just wondering, what did they see that Observer with?
Dire's bottom tower is under
Is that
attack.
Sentry?
Dire's structures are
Wow.
fortified.
Yeah, just barely. just barely. Yeah, the circle's a little bit weird. Any part of that circle being like just barely over the base of the ward.
Yeah, when you look at the very edge, it
Dire's
sort of
bottom
clips
tower
weirdly on the
has
terrain,
fallen.
so maybe that actually comes out a little bit further like that. I don't know.
I think it's if any part of the, if you look at the white circle at the base of the ward, if any part of the green circle overlaps with any part of that white circle, even if it's just barely touching, it does
Dire's
grant
bottom
vision.
tower is under attack.
I've seen some weird stuff.
Yeah. Weird like these pathing fixes? No, I didn't
Oh
say
my
that.
god.
Dire's
Don't
middle
get me
tower
started
is
on
under
this.
attack.
Oh,
No, it
man.
is better for neither of us to get started on that topic, my friend.
Well,
yeah, that's a couple of really big kills here for Summoner's Rift on the Invoker to get not only just to get their heroes back on track, but to get their levels up.
yeah, you're pushing Brax closer and closer to Orchid. If he's got one Oblivion Staff up already, then his Robe of the Magi plus 350 gold. Where's Invoker sitting? He's nowhere near close. The two deaths has pushed Brax ahead of the Invoker by a good margin. Making the most jump in the first blink of the game when he gets ripped apart by Kuroki. Brax now probably wishing he had to jump so far in. Cold Snap stops him from zipping away. But the net worth of Sumail right now, 4,000. The couple of kills that Brax has got, I mean, that death drops him by about 200 or 300 gold. But he's still almost 3k. Or, well,
Yeah,
2k ahead of Sumail.
The question to me, which I think you're going to see get answered here pretty shortly, is how many heroes are they going to have to devote to stopping Fear from eating their powers? PPD is going to get
Radiant's
caught up.
top tower has fallen.
There is Hookshot as well, so Demon Link just well, I guess when Sumail and Fear come in then with a second hit entangle, even Aui's here. They've got 4 heroes top
Big
all of a
Daddy's
sudden.
here, boys.
Fear has decided to fight. I was wondering, someone in chat just called out the double minus into Radiance from the bear.
Middle tower
And I was wondering if it does go double minus as the farming has. Brax gonna fight PPD here, who's landing up against 1.37, but Universe flies the blink forward, Culling one. Brax can't even get the last shot of PPD, now they're gonna take him out. Don't even need the black hole with a multicast again from the Ogre. PPD on the ball with this one.
Yeah, there's a timing on that
Radiant's
storm
middle
has
tower
been.
has fallen.
I mean, you expect that in
Dire's
some ways
bottom
at this
tower
level of
is under
play,
attack.
but their disable timing on the Storm Spirit has still been really good in those last couple of kills, and it just doesn't take much of an overextension. I mean, you saw Sumail feed 2 deaths back to back on his Invoker. Well, guess what? Brax, that big lead he had, is now gone. Here's the chrono from Arteezy on Fear. I don't know if this is going to be enough.
Tornado. Fear gets an entangle onto Kuroki, finishes him off. One more hit. EMP actually sealing the deal as the cogs push him out of the Mystic Flare. The Arcane Bolt will actually take him down, but Demon losing his life. 4 down just to kill Fear. Man, oh man.
Wow, and interesting decision by Arteezy in that fight. I think he uses Time Walk forward into EG's team.
Yeah, I was wondering with Fear's early start whether he goes for some kind of funky build with, you know, the double minus to just try and be that guy, and then still build into Radiance. But he is playing that full-on brawling bear. He doesn't care who runs at him or when they run at him. He is going to fight. And also,
Yeah,
the fight we
that's the
saw
thing.
on the ramp going to the big tier 2 up to the secret shop, it's all about the cold snap. The fact
Like,
that
I would hate that, because to me that wastes a big part of the window when your hero is going to be really powerful in this game. Look at their
Radiant's
lineup.
bottom tower is under attack.
because he's just been sitting on top lane, pushing into tier 1. Farming up, and there's just no one that can stop him. If they send anyone, the Lion, the Skyrim, and the Storm, they have to lock him down, stun him, and nuke him with everything under the sun just to drop him low.
Boy, and that was a really good Aegis on Sumail there. I think they've really been trying to focus him in these fights. And Arteezy should be dead.
Arteezy Blink called the book. Multicast again from PPD. Sumail playing like a Zeus, Tornado to KS. I mean, what the hell?
Boy, but Summoner's Rift better hope he's not playing like a Zeus.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And this is just cue the methodical tower pushing by
Radiant's
EG.
bottom tower has fallen.
One by one, SUMSRIFT falling, losing heroes everywhere. Roshan already been taken and going to
Dire's
pick that
top
up.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, and I think this
Invoker.
is a mistake. I mean, Summoner's Rift are showing the top push, but the
Radiant's
very
bottom
best that they can
tower
hope
is
for
under
really
attack.
is a tier 1 for tier 2 trade.
Can they go though? Because Blip is ready. Yeah, 1437. A couple of right clicks from Sumail. Does PPD steal this with
Dire's
the...
top
No.
tower is under
Not
attack.
quite. Hookshot into the creep wave. Demon with the plays. He does get a cog bounce back onto Owie PPD, so they can't actually continue. That was it.
Yeah, this is why I hated that. I just hated the fact that they were showing like they were going to make a trade top, because it meant that any approach that they had to that fight was probably going to be for an awkward angle. And it's just so easy for EG to pick off those supports right now if they're out of position at all. Universe fortunately missing the call. Goodness, Demon would have been in a great deal of trouble there.
Bear, Spirit Bear with Manifold now gets pushed back by Cogs. That's an interaction that I haven't actually thought about before. Our team has losing quite a bit of health, but still going to be able to jump away.
Yeah, and Sumail all of a sudden is back to that point now with his Orchid up and second on the board in net worth. How the tides have turned, right? I mean, look at I think Brax has practically gone backward on that Storm Spirit, but Sumail is once again in the position where he feels like he can dictate the pace of play, and when he's doing that, EG are just very, very hard to beat.
Well, we were looking at Storm being 2k ahead of Sumail, what, 3 minutes ago?
Right, I want to say that 3 minutes ago, Storm was almost at 6k, and Sumail was under 4k.
Yes.
And right now, Sumail's gained about 1k, and I'm sorry, Sumail has doubled up, more than doubled up, and Brax has gained like 1k or maybe even a little less net worth.
Yeah, Brax was on 5800, Sumail was on like 29.
Here you go.
Oh, PPD. Okay, Universe blinks in, gets a massive nuke to the base though. Storm,
weird.
This is what he wanted. That was really unusual, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very strange decision from Universe. That's exactly the kind of play that he almost never makes. Boy, Sumail, though, is going to man-fight Arteezy down here.
How do you even fight up against this? The Spirit Bear going to get Vortex by Brax. Look how much he does.
It's the early Mjolnir on the Bear is just so crazy.
And the fact
this is where, especially when it has the attack speed this early, this is where that demolish building damage just comes into play. These towers will fall so quickly.
Sumail's going to take out Kuroki. We've got 4 right clicks. The Orchid going to burn him through. Tornado back with the Demon, but he'll use Cogs and should be safe. Take a look at what Sumail's building right now. Yep. I hovered over what he had in his stash, and I was like, huh, Staff of Wizardry in a recipe. Must be Necrobook or maybe 4 staff? No!
Radiant's
Incorrect! He is building Dagon.
He's like, I had a good game on Zeus last game, guys. Let's just do it again. Yeah, zap, zap, zap.
Let's kill everybody. So Dagon level 1, it does help bring people from really low HP wise, and then let the Orchid finish them off. Increases the Orchid burn from what is the Orchid burn actually called?
Soulburn, I think.
Soulburn, thank you.
But if you look at Arteezy, right?
Radiant's
Arteezy, having gone
attack.
the Mask of Madness and Maelstrom, is sitting at just under 1.1k HP.
Yeah, well, Sumail gets started stuff with super HP to water flow, so he'll come back to life. But the double call from Universe, Culling Blade onto Arteezy. And with that buyback, Sumail's still fighting strong here. Demon is in the wrong neighborhood.
Radiant's top tower
And you just saw the argument for the Dagon, even though they did manage to pop the Aegis. I mean, with under 1.1k HP, Arteezy, he eats an Orchid and a Dagon, especially if he has Mask of Madness activated, and he's dead.
Right. No,
Interesting.
Continuing on TP.
Okay.
I'm guessing he misclicked or something? Or was the cold snap from Sumail that quick? Because he's diving in pretty deep here, 1437, doesn't have anything left to throw out at him.
Absolutely no fear.
Like, we've been talking about Sumail for like the past 2 games, but it pretty much has been him making a flashy play. But it's not taking anything away from that. He's farming exceptionally well in the jungle. It's just that every single engagement and fight has been centered around this player. They definitely go out of the way, not just to create space for him, but to open gaps for team points.
I'm sorry, but what are you supposed to talk about? Like when Peyton Manning has hit every pass and has 600 yards in a game, you know, you can say that the announcers are favoring him or biased or whatever, but what the hell else are you going to talk about? I mean, these are just 2 displays of force from the kid, and he finishes 1239, and this is after he was 2K